Hey, it's Dr. Greg with Align Wellness Center, and people always ask me and want to know, how much water should I drink in a day? So today we're going to dive into it. Now on these videos, I look to focus on tips and activities you can do at home to help your life live a better life. Now I focus here in my office on helping all members of the community live a life of optimal health and well-being. So proper hydration is key and essential. Why is it important? Well, let's add some tips and ask some questions. Write them down below if you'd like. However, what I find is that water, or one of the biggest epidemics that we run into, is chronic dehydration. Yeah, you've never heard of that one, right? Because it doesn't get much press. Well, the reason it doesn't get much press is because, well, most water is free, and there's no one that can wind up making a profit off of it. But here's how it happens, okay? I find that the best way to figure out how much water you should drink winds up being 50% of your body weight in water. So if I weigh 200 pounds, I should be consuming 100 fluid ounces of water a day. And that's if I'm not active, I'm not in sports, I'm not drinking coffee, tea, or alcohol, or taking any medications. Now I gotta let you know, if you are on a water pill or you have high blood pressure, let's talk in more detail about your individual case. That winds up making things different. So if you're not consuming that much water, let's just say for a day, right? Like instead of consuming my 100 fluid ounces of water, I consumed 90. I did pretty good, right? I'm missing 10 fluid ounces of water. Now in one day, that's not a lot of water, right? That's just 10 fluid ounces. It's a little bit more than a cup. However, if I go for a week like that, that's 70 fluid ounces that I've missed. And if I go for most months, that winds up being, I'm doing math in my head, so don't get upset if I get wrong, that winds up being somewhere in the neighborhood of almost 300 fluid ounces of water that I'm missing. And then if we do that for a year, that's 3,600 fluid ounces of water that you're missing. That's a lot. Now, 1 year of that might not cause a problem, but if you wind up doing that for 10 years, you think you might end up with some blood pressure issues? You think you can wind up with some muscles that get fatigued or tired, or some spasming? Sure you can. You think you might end up with some digestive issues? Maybe some kidney problems? Maybe some difficulty with focus and attention. Now when I share this with patients in our office, most of them drop their jaw. Now I know everyone in the YouTube world and the Facebook world wind up consuming way more than that in water, so that's not you. But if you've been doing that for years, or let's say water doesn't taste good to you, and instead of water, you wind up drinking Diet Coke, well, your body's got to wind up having not just the regular fluid, but the additional to filter all of that soft drink. And I hate to tell you, soft drinks, the way I look at them, come in the flavor of coffee, tea, soda, alcohol, just about any beverage, if it's not water, which our body was meant to use, consume, filter, and digest, winds up needing to be added to your fluid ounces of content that you wind up consuming. I know, this is not where people fall in love with me, but it's the truth. And I know that I have to tell that to you because nobody else will. I knew I grew up learning that only 64 fluid ounces of water was the amount that I should consume in a day. Well, for me, that winds up being 40 fluid ounces a day off, a lot more than the example that I talked about earlier. So let's make sure that we're increasing the volumes of water that we wind up consuming. So if we wind up working out hard, we need to get almost 75% to 100% of our body weights in water. Now, if you have questions about your own particular case or your body or how much water you should be drinking, feel free to ask me questions below or send me an email at our office or private message me. I love to connect with people and share with them and help get them to the right answers. And if you have more questions as well, I'm always open to getting together in our office in Northbrook, Illinois to find out what's going on, figuring out a plan to get you from where you are to a healthier state so you can live a life of optimal health and well-being. Once again, I'm Dr. Greg Gersten with Align Wellness Center.